Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Today, I'm going to be talking about a major sustainability issue that doesn't always get enough attention, and it's the overfishing and population decline of sharks. This presentation is based off of my citizen science project, which was on shark spy. When most people think of sharks, they picture dangerous predators, but in reality, sharks are the ones facing danger. Human activity has pushed away many shark species to the brink of extinction. This problem isn't just about saving one type of animal, it's about protecting entire ocean ecosystems and the livelihoods that depend on them. Overfishing, habitat loss, and illegal trade are all contributing to this crisis, and understanding these issues is the first step toward building more sustainable oceans. So, why do sharks matter? Sharks are often called the doctors of the sea because they keep marine ecosystems healthy. They've been on Earth for over 400 million years. That's even before the dinosaurs. And they play a vital ecological role as apex predators. This means that they're at the top of their food chain, keeping populations of prey species in check. Without sharks, mid-level predators can grow out of control, which can wipe out smaller species and destabilize food webs such as the one shown below. There are more than 500 different shark species, from small reef sharks to giant whale sharks, and each has a unique role in its environment. So when shark numbers decline, the effects are felt throughout the entire ocean, from coral reefs to commercial fisheries, even to coastal communities that rely on healthy marine life. Overfishing is one of the most serious threats to shark survival. Sharks are caught both intentionally and unintentionally for their fins, meat, oil, cartilage, and even their skin. Scientists estimate that between 70 and 100 million sharks are killed every single year. Because sharks grow slowly and they reproduce infrequently, often taking 10 to 20 years to reach maturity and having only a few pups when they do, their populations can't keep up with this level of exploitation. As a result, many species are now endangered or critically endangered, including the hammerhead, the organic whitetip, and the great thresher shark. This isn't just an animal welfare issue, it's an ecological and economic one. When sharks disappear, entire ecosystems change, which can lead to collapse in fish stocks and coral reef degradation. One of the most unsustainable and inhumane practices driving shark decline is shark finning. This is when fishermen cut the fins off of sharks, often while the animal is still alive, and throw the rest of the body back into the ocean to die. The fins are dried and sold mainly for shark fin soup, which is a traditional dish that's considered a, quote, status symbol in some cultures. A single fin can sell for hundreds of dollars, so there's a huge financial incentive. While over 90 countries have banned finning, enforcement remains weak. Fins are still traded illegally through global black markets, and demand continues in many parts of Asia. Finning is especially wasteful. It often uses less than 5% of the shark's body, and it's a clear example of how short-term profit can override long-term sustainability. Even in fisheries that don't directly target sharks, millions are caught accidentally every year. This is known as bycatch. Large industrial operations that fish for tuna or swordfish use gill nets that can stretch for miles, and sharks get hooked and trapped unintentionally. Many of these sharks die before they can even be released because the bycatch isn't always reported. The real number of deaths may be much higher than official records suggest. This problem particularly affects juvenile sharks and endangered species, making recovery for these species even harder. However, there are sustainable alternatives. Fishing fleets can switch to circle hooks, which are less likely to catch sharks, or use magnetic and electric repellents. New technologies like bycatch reduction devices are also helping minimize harm, showing that sustainability is possible if the industry adopts these methods. Another major threat is IUU fishing, otherwise known as illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. This happens when vessels operate without permits, exceed quotas, or fail to report their catches. Because sharks often migrate across international borders, they're especially vulnerable to IUU operations that exploit weak laws in certain regions. It is estimated that IUU fishing accounts for up to 30% of global shark catches, making it nearly impossible to track or manage these populations properly. To combat this, some governments and conservation groups are using satellite monitoring, vessel tracking, and even DNA barcoding to identify illegally traded shark products. But intentional cooperation is essential. The ocean doesn't have borders, so enforcement can't stop at one country's coastline. The loss of sharks caused a chain of reaction known as a trophic cascade, where the removal of a top predator affects every level below it. For example, in the Northwest Atlantic, overfishing of great sharks lead to an explosion in cow-nose ray populations. Those rays then overfed on scallops, causing the collapse of local scallop industry that the fishermen once relied on. On coral reefs, fewer sharks can lead to an overabundance of mid-level predators that eat the smaller herbivorous fish. Without those herbivores, algae can overgrow and suffocate coral reefs. Sharks also indirectly help with carbon storage by maintaining healthy fish populations and seagrass beds that capture carbon. So, losing sharks isn't just a biodiversity issue, it's connected to climate regulation, food security, and the economic stability of coastal communities. The good news is that there are real, achievable solutions. First, stronger finning bans and the requirement that sharks be landed with fins naturally attached help reduce illegal practices. Expanding marine protected areas, especially in key breeding and nursery zones, give sharks safe spaces to recover. Community-based fisheries are another success story. When local fishers are given a stake in sustainable management, they're more likely to protect shark populations rather than exploit them. And then there's ecotourism. Shark dividing operations in places like the Bahamas or Fiji that generate millions of dollars annually and can create jobs while keeping sharks alive. It proves that sharks are far more valuable as living animals than as a bowl of soup. Globally, several organizations and governments are working towards sustainable shark management. The Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, or CITES, regularly regulates the trade of threatened shark species and requires permits for international sales. Regional Fisheries Management Organizations, or RFMOs, set fishing quotas and monitor international waters. Some nations have gone further, like the Maldives and the Bahamas, and they declared their entire territorial waters as shark sanctuaries, which bans commercial shark fishing altogether. While these are positive steps, challenges still remain. Enforcement is expensive, data collection is inconsistent, and some countries lack the resources to monitor large ocean areas. Continued international cooperation, better funding, and public awareness are key to long-term success. So here's the call to action. To conclude, sharks are not the monsters we often see in movies. They are guardians of the ocean, playing a vital role in keeping marine ecosystems healthy and balanced. Overfishing and shark finning have pushed many species to the edge of extinction, but it's not too late to turn things around. By enforcing stronger laws, supporting sustainable seafood practices, and promoting education and ecotourism, we can protect sharks and the oceans they sustain. As consumers, we can also make small but powerful choices, saying no to shark fin products, choosing sustainable seafood, and supporting conservation efforts. If we protect sharks, we protect the ocean. And if we protect the ocean, we protect ourselves. Here is my Works Cited page. And thank you.